Jennifer of Celtic Knot Crochet, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to make the Christmas Crochet Cookie. This is an easy crochet pattern and uses a small amount of medium weight acrylic yarn. Don't forget to click to subscribe, and if you like this project, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Let's get started. The Christmas Crochet Cookie is a free crochet pattern that you can find in written form on my blog at CelticKnotCrochet.com. For my Christmas Crochet Cookies, I used Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the color Cafe Latte. I think it looks just like gingerbread cookies, so that's why I picked it out. And then I use the Super Saver white yarn. You can use any medium weight acrylic yarn. If you use thinner yarn, your cookies would just come out smaller. Mine are about 4 inches from point to point. You'll also need 5 stitch markers, a yarn needle, some nice sharp scissors, and one optional finishing thing you can do is you can add some red ribbon. I love the look of red with the brown and white, so I just got some 1/4 inch red satin ribbon from my local craft store. And then if you'd like, you can also cover the back with a matching piece of brown felt, and I use a glue gun for that because we're not going to be washing this project and we want it to go quickly. So we'll actually use this felt backing to help us finish this even quicker, and I'll show you that as we get to that part in the video. Oh, and of course we don't want to forget, you need a 3.75 millimeter F crochet hook. This is smaller than what you would normally use with medium weight yarn, but I want my stitches nice and tight. I don't want any gaps or holes in the cookie, so I'm using a smaller hook than normal. To make our cookie, we're going to work in the round for 2 rounds. Then we're going to work back and forth in rows to make each of the points, like so. And then we're going to add some edging, and then these details here, the icing details, we add those with the white yarn and the yarn needle. To begin the project, you'll want to do an adjustable ring, and I'll show you how to do it here very quickly, but I have a step-by-step short tutorial on this technique. So you lay the working yarn down over your hand and wrap it once and cross over. So you have the tail here, cross over, put your hook through the loop you just made and grab the working yarn, and then this is the trickiest part. You kind of got to pinch that little loop you have right here, chain 1 to lock it in place, and then I'm going to do 10 single crochets in this adjustable ring. Now, if you don't want to do the adjustable ring, you can chain 2 and work 10 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. So here's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and the beauty of the adjustable ring is now I can pull this tail and cinch up the center of my cookie so you really can't see that hole in there. I'm not going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch at this point. I'm going to start working though in that first stitch, and I'm going to do a single crochet. Here, let me zoom in a little bit for you. I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet all in that same stitch. And before I move on, I'm going to take one of my stitch markers and mark that chain 1 space with my stitch marker. Then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch, so you could see it right here. And then I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to do the single crochet, chain 1 single crochet in this stitch, and then single crochet in the next. I'm going to do that 5 times around, and I'll have 5 stitch markers marking each chain 1 space. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, take my stitch marker and mark the chain 1 space. Then single crochet in the next stitch. Do that again. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, then mark it with the stitch marker. Then single crochet in the next stitch. So I'll do that 2 more times, and then we'll move on to the next step. Here I've completed round 2, and here is my first single crochet of the round right here. And I'm going to put a slip stitch into that first single crochet. Now for the points of our star, we're going to work from this chain 1 to this chain 1 back and forth. So that's why we mark them, so they're easy to find. So I'm going to work a single crochet in that chain 1 space, and then a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to work a single crochet in that chain 1 space. So now I have 5 single crochets right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to work in rows. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. And now I'm going to do some decreases to create the gradual point. So in these first 2 stitches here, I'm going to single crochet 2 together. Put my hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop. Put my hook into the next one, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then I'm going to do that single crochet 2 together in the next 2 stitches. Hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's row 2. Then I'm going to chain 1, and now I should have 1, 2, 3 stitches, and I'm going to single crochet in each of those. 1, 2, 3, and there we go. I've already completed row 3. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and here I have my 3 stitches, and I'm going to do a single crochet 2 together over these 2, and then I'm going to put my hook back into this middle stitch and do a single crochet 2 together over the second 2. So I put my hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, next stitch, hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Then I'll put my hook back into that middle stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, hook into the next one, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And now I have 2 stitches in this last, going into the last row. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn 1 last time. Here are my 2 stitches, and this is my chain 1 right here. And I'm going to do the single crochet 2 together again. Hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. And there I have completed 1 point of the star. and then I'm going to cut it about 4 or 5 inches. Yarn over, pull through, make a nice knot there. And now I'm going to start my next point right here. So I will start where my last point ended. So here it is. Here's that last stitch right here. And I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See the 5 stitches? Now if you're having a hard time finding here, you could mark this one. So when we work this next one, I'll show you. We could mark, keep this mark in here so you know where to begin. And you could also count 5 stitches back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know I'm going to start right there. So I'll talk you through this one. They're all going to be the same, but you want to put your slip knot on your hook again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. Put my hook into that chain 1 space. Now this here is called a join with a single crochet. So I'll show you how to do that again. I did that super fast. So you put your slip knot on your hook, put your hook into the stitch you want to work into, yarn over, pull through the stitch, 2 loops on your hook, and yarn over, pull through 2. It's also sometimes called a standing single crochet. And now I'm going to do a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And here's my next chain 1 space. I'm going to do a single crochet right in there. And I'll leave that stitch marker in so it's easier to find for my next point. So, like we did before, chain 1, turn. Now we're going to do single crochet 2 together, hook in, yarn over, hook in the next, yarn over, pull through 3, then single crochet in the center, then hook in, yarn over, hook in, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1, turn. Now we do single crochet in each, 1, 2, 3, then chain 1, turn. Now single crochet these 2 together and then these 2 together, remember? So hook in, yarn over, pull through 3. Now hook into that middle one again, hook in to the next one, the last one, and then yarn over, pull through 3. And now we have just 2 stitches left, chain 1, turn, and hook in, yarn over, hook in, yarn over, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and now we have our second point done. So we'll want to repeat that 3 more times. And then I'll show you how to add all the finishing touches. And remember, you're going to have a good amount of yarn tails, but I have a solution for that in making them disappear quickly. You'll see. Here is my completed star shape, and now all I need to do is I'm going to add an edging in the brown to clean up these edges here. I don't like how this looks all bumpy, so we're going to add a single crochet edging around the whole star, and then we're going to add the icing details. So to begin, I'm going to start in between one of the points with my slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to put a slip stitch right in here. So slip stitch is a joining stitch, yarn over, pull through everything. Zoom in a little for you. And then as best as I can, I'm going to work into the sides of the stitches, working single crochet. I have the right side facing. I know it's the right side because of the first 2 rounds are facing me correctly. These doesn't matter so much because we went back and forth. But if I flip it over, I can see how it's much more bumpy here in the center. That's the back. So I want the right side facing. I'm going to keep just working into the sides of those rows, evenly spaced. And when I get to the top here, here's that top point, I'm going to put my hook as well as I can right into there. And I'm going to do a single crochet, chain one, and then another single crochet right into the same stitch. And that just helps the point to stay pointy. And then I'll keep working down here, single crochet down the other side of the point. And when I get down here, I'm going to put a slip stitch right in there. Slip stitch right in between the 2 points. And that creates this nice finished clean edge. So repeat that all the way around with single crochet up one side of the point, single crochet, chain one, single crochet at the point, and then single crochet down the other side and slip stitch right here in between the points. One little note about working up and down is that since there are 5 rows, you want to try to get 5 single crochets here along the side, and then the single crochet, chain one, single crochet at the point. But if you can't, that's okay. But if you do 2 less than 5, if you do 3, your cookie's going to start to curl in like that. So you want to make sure that you get at least 4 or 5 stitches along each side. So here's what your star shape should look like after you've gone all the way around with the single crochet edging. Now at this point, you'll want to take care of a bunch of these yarn tails, but I am going to cover most of the yarn tails with this piece of felt. So I do not have to weave them all in. I just have to work them back from each edge. So you could even just glue them back from the edge, and that's even quicker. So I'll show you both ways. So I'm going to thread them onto my yarn needle and just work in a short distance like so and clip it off, because they're not going to show, they're not going to unravel because I'm going to cover it with felt. So I would do that at the point, and I want to get them in from the edge in between the points here. So that's one way you could do it, but this can get a little time consuming, and if you want to make a lot of these for gifts or to put on packages, this is what I recommend. You get your glue gun, and you just put a little dot here, on all the yarn tails like so. And I'm just gluing them to the back of the crochet project using a very small amount of glue because I don't want it to go through to the other side. And I just use the tip of the glue gun to anchor them down. Let it cool for a minute or two, and then I'm just going to come by and clip the excess off like so. Okay, so it's not going to look pretty on this side, and that's okay because we're going to cover it with that felt. But wasn't that so much quicker? I just did about 6 yarn tails there, lickety split. Alright, so I'll keep doing that. Now the one thing you might want to make sure you do, you don't have to because this yarn is pretty thick and tight, but sometimes for the adjustable ring, I do like to weave that one in by adding a knot. So I just like to secure it by going into a stitch nearby, like so, and going back through that loop I just created. So I have a nice knot, and I might do that a couple times. And then you can use your glue gun and just secure that yarn tail to the side, and when it dries, clip the excess off. And you'll have all those yarn tails taken care of really quickly, and like I said, it's not going to show, so it's no big deal. Here are all my yarn tails glued down. Again, not pretty, but it doesn't have to be. And now I'm going to add the icing edging. As you can see here, I did a slip stitch edging all the way around. So you just put your slip knot on your hook, still using the 3.75 millimeter hook. And then I'm going to work in the back loop of each of these stitches. So I'm going to work back there like that. So I like to start down in here because it's easier to hide the yarn tail in that area. So I just put my hook into that back loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through everything. And I don't want to be too tight here because it's an edging that I want to flow around the sides without making it crumple up. So this looks like the point. So I'm going to slip stitch in there, chain one, and then slip stitch in the next one. And that just gives a little extra room when you're going around the point. And I continue working in that back loop only. And when I get down to that slip stitch that I worked before, I just do another slip stitch right there. And I go around the next point. All the way up to the top, center top, and then chain one to give me a little space there, and go down the other side. And you'll see that gives us really nice finished look of the icing look around the edge. Here you can see I've gone all the way around with my slip stitch edging in the back loop only, and I just cut about 4 or 5 inches off, yarn over and pull through to make a knot at the end. And now I'm ready to add the icing details using a length of the white yarn and my yarn needle. So we're going to do these long stitches first, and then these shorter but still long stitches, and then these little details we add last. So you'll want a nice long length of your white yarn and thread it onto your yarn needle, and we're going to keep going up and down through this center. So I'm going to come up through the middle, and I just hold the yarn here on the back with my finger. I don't make a knot. I'm going to go up to this point, and I'm going to go through the center of the stitching, like so. And then I'm going to come back down on the back and go through the center again. And you don't want to pull it too tight because you want your cookie to lay flat. And then I'll repeat that on the next point. So I'm going right into the center of that slip stitch. And I'll keep coming back through the center and then up to the top of each point. I found that by going through the center of your stitch, you'll get nice, clean, connected lines. If you do this right on the edge of the stitch, you might see some brown through here, and it just doesn't look as good. So I come back down through the center, next point, okay, and as I go, I just make sure that it's nice and flat and it's not pulling it up. And then go through my last one here, like so. And now I'm going to do the same method, but I'm going to work right here in between. So I'll go up through the center and then go to this point here, and same thing, I'm going to try to go through that slip stitch edging so the white is a nice constant line. And then come up through the center again and go through the edging right there. So you could make a wide variety of icing designs. This is just one of them, but if you look online at some real cookie decorations with the brown gingerbread and snowflake looking cookies or star-shaped cookies, you'll see a bunch of different patterns. So you could work those into your project too, just by doing like I'm doing, embroidering with the yarn. Now for this last part where we're adding these little details here, I experimented and I wanted to kind of anchor these down because they're, you know, sticking up, but it just didn't look right. So you'll have to see what you like the best. I decided to just come up next to the white and make a little stitch like that, and then go up a little bit more and make another one. And then repeat it on the other side. And I want to go down to where I'm kind of going under this piece. So it looks like they're connected, but they're not. I'll do that again. I start from this side and then go down, push this over a little, so I'm going under it. And there you go. So like I said, I did experiment with putting my needle through this, but I didn't really like how it looked. If you'd like, you can put a small dot of hot glue here, but that can be tricky to make it look nice and clean because sometimes you get all those little bits of hot glue and you don't want that on the front of your project. So you'll go all the way around doing that same thing on the long sections, and then we'll do the same thing with these yarn tails that we did with the others. And we'll just tie them in knots and glue them down so we don't have to weave them all in. And then you'll want to add a piece of ribbon. I just fold it over so it's about 3 to 4 inches long, and I'm going to hot glue that there. And then I tie a little bow and I hot glue that right there. And then the last step, I like to cut a piece that's bigger than the actual cookie shape. Trust me, don't try tracing it and cutting it out. You'll never get it the right size. I've done this a lot, and to me, this is the quickest and easiest way. So you want to take a piece that's bigger than your cookie, and you start by putting some glue around the center, and put that right in the center of your piece of felt, and press it down, let it cool. And then I go point by point. So I fold it back like this, and I do a little bit in the center of the point, and then I go along the edge like that and press it into the felt. You can be careful, it's hot. And take your time. It's worth taking your time with this step. Now, of course, if you'd like, you can sew the felt with sewing thread around the edge. That is a nice look. But things like this, I like to find the quickest way. Again, we're not going to be washing these. And if you want to make a lot of them, this helps it go quickly. And then I just rotate, and I do the same thing on each point, making sure I have a little in the center and a little around the edge, and press it down like so. And you'll repeat that all the way around. Here you can see I've glued the felt around, and there might be a few gaps. I can fix those in a minute. But then after I've glued it down, I take my nice sharp scissors and I trim off the excess felt, making sure that I don't cut my crochet project. And I continue that around, and I just like to check. Sometimes I look here, and if there's a little bit of a gap, I add a little bit more glue. And there you have it, the Christmas Crochet Cookie with a nice felt backing. What's nice about the felt backing, I like to use a little fabric sticker or fabric label that you use to label your children's clothing. It'll stick right to the fabric. You can put a little piece of that here with your name, the date, so whoever you give it to remembers it's from you. I hope you enjoyed making this project. Please let me know who you made it for in the comments below. I love to hear about all of your projects. Make sure to give us a thumbs up if you like this project and click to subscribe. Stay tuned to watch the next crochet tutorial from my YouTube channel, Celtic Knot Crochet. Thanks for watching.